Chosen one, if you have been feeling invisible lately, like you are pouring out effort, love, discipline, and sacrifice behind closed doors and nobody seems to notice, I need you to stop scrolling for a moment. Pause. Breathe slowly. Because what I am about to say is going to touch that place in your chest that has felt heavy, overlooked, and quietly tired. You have wondered if any of it matters. You have wondered if heaven even sees what people ignore. And I am here to tell you something that will steady your heart. God has not been watching the version of you that performs in public. He has not been impressed by the polished image, the curated words, the moments that earn likes and applause. What moved Him, what caused holy delight, was who you were when the door closed and the room was silent. When there was no audience, when there was no validation, when there was no promise of anyone ever knowing what you chose. He saw you when you forgave someone in your heart, and they will never understand the war you fought to get there. They will never know how many nights you wrestled with anger. They will never know how many times you replayed what they said, what they did, how deeply it cut you. They will never know the pride you had to swallow, the tears you had to wipe away in private. But heaven knows. Heaven watched you choose release instead of revenge. Heaven watched you loosen your grip on bitterness when everything inside you wanted to hold on. And in that moment, something sacred happened. God leaned in, not because He was surprised that you could forgive, but because He was moved by the purity of your heart. He saw the choice you made when no one was clapping. He saw you whisper through pain, I let them go. That kind of forgiveness is rare. That kind of obedience is not loud. It does not trend, but it shakes heaven. He saw you give when your own needs were pressing. He saw you send that money quietly. He saw you cover that bill. He saw you bless someone and make sure your name was not attached. You did not post about it. You did not hint at it. You did not look around to see who noticed. You saw a need and you responded. And maybe your wallet felt thinner afterward. Maybe your schedule felt tighter. But your heart felt aligned. You gave without applause. You gave without leverage. You gave because it was right. And heaven recorded not just the amount, but the sacrifice behind it. He saw you pray for someone who wounded you. That is something most people will never understand. You could have prayed for justice in a way that satisfied your anger. You could have prayed for distance. Instead, you prayed for their healing. You prayed for their growth. You prayed for their peace. You stood in the gap for someone who never stood up for you. And they may never know you did it. They may never say thank you. They may never realize how much grace you extended on their behalf. But every word you whispered in that quiet place rose like incense before God. He saw your integrity when it cost you something. When you could have lied and gotten away with it. When you could have cut corners and no one would have checked. When you could have taken credit and advanced faster. But you did not. You chose the harder right instead of the easier wrong. You chose character when convenience was tempting. You chose truth when deception would have been profitable. And you did it without an audience. That is who you are when nobody is watching. And that is what God values most. He saw your quiet service. The tasks that nobody thanks you for. The behind-the-scenes effort. The preparation. The cleaning. The organizing. The showing up early and staying late. You made things possible for others to shine. You carried weight so others could stand tall. And sometimes you felt overlooked. Sometimes you wondered if your contribution even mattered. But you kept serving anyway. Not because it felt glamorous, but because it felt aligned with who you are. You need to understand something deeply. The hidden things carry extraordinary weight in the kingdom of heaven. What you do when no one is watching is not small. It is not forgotten. It is not overlooked. It is being recorded in ways you cannot see. There is a principle woven throughout Scripture that explains what you are experiencing. When Jesus spoke about praying in secret, about giving in secret, about fasting in secret, he was not merely giving religious instructions. He was revealing a pattern. What is done in secret before God carries a different kind of reward. Not instant applause, not immediate recognition, but something deeper, something lasting. Most people lose patience in the hidden season. They do the right thing for a while. They forgive for a while. They serve for a while. They give for a while. But when no one notices, they start to question. They start to perform. They start to adjust their motives. They start to seek visible validation. And in doing so, they trade eternal reward for temporary applause. But you did not trade. You stayed. You kept choosing obedience when it felt invisible. That matters more than you know. Think about the widow who gave her last coins. The amount was small by earthly standards. It barely registered compared to what others gave. But Jesus noticed her. He saw the cost. He saw the surrender. He saw the trust. She did not give to be seen. She gave because her heart was aligned. And heaven declared her offering greater than the rest. That is the realm you have been operating in. The realm of purity over performance. The realm of obedience over optics. I know there have been moments when you felt tired. When you thought, what is the point of this? Why am I doing the right thing when no one acknowledges it? That weariness is human. Wanting to be seen is not wrong. But you must remember whose eyes truly matter. The one who sees your heart is the one who holds your future. God is not scanning your social presence. He is reading your intentions. He is not impressed by volume. He is moved by sincerity. He looks beyond the visible into the hidden chambers of your motives. And when he sees a heart that chooses integrity in darkness, he delights. The language of God being moved or delighted is not about surprise. It is about affection. It is about a father who sees his child choose character freely. When you forgive quietly, heaven rejoices. When you give without credit, heaven celebrates. When you serve without spotlight, heaven leans in. There are things being recorded that you cannot measure. Your motive is being recorded. Why you did what you did. The purity behind it. Your cost is being recorded. What it required from you. The pride you surrendered. The comfort you sacrificed. The time you invested. And your consistency is being recorded. The fact that this was not a one-time gesture, but a pattern of obedience. Nothing done in love is wasted. Nothing done in faith is ignored. God is not unjust to forget your work. There is something shifting because of what you have been doing in secret. It may not look dramatic yet. It may not feel explosive. But foundations are being strengthened. Doors are being aligned. Favor is being positioned. Recognition will come, but not in the way you imagine. It will not be shallow applause. It will not be fleeting validation. It will be the right people seeing the right qualities at the right time. It will be doors opening that you did not force. It will be opportunities that find you because of who you became in the dark. Character always creates capacity. And you have been building character. Favor is not random. It often rests on those who remained faithful when nobody noticed. Alignment is not accidental. It often meets those who stayed obedient without needing credit. But timing belongs to God. That is the part that stretches faith. Some breakthroughs arrive quickly. Others unfold slowly. Comparison will only drain you. Trust is what sustains you. Keep doing what you have been doing. Do not change your heart now. Do not start performing because you know reward is possible. Protect the purity of your motive. Let your obedience remain sincere. Your hidden season was never punishment. It was preparation. And now I want to pray over you, not as a ritual, but as an agreement with what is already unfolding. Father, thank you for seeing what no one else saw. Thank you for witnessing every quiet choice, every hidden sacrifice, every whispered prayer. Thank you that nothing slipped past you. When they felt invisible, you were attentive. When they felt overlooked, you were present. Strengthen them to continue. When weariness tries to creep in, renew their spirit. When doubt whispers that it does not matter, remind them that heaven has been recording everything. Let them feel your delight. Let them sense your nearness. Not because of performance, but because of relationship. Release breakthrough in your perfect timing. Open doors that align with the character they built in secret. Let recognition come from the right places. Let provision flow in unexpected ways. Let favor rest where faithfulness has grown. Guard their heart from bitterness. Guard their motive from corruption. Keep them grounded in humility and joy. Seal what has been sound in darkness and bring it forth in light at the appointed time. Take a breath now. Let peace settle over you. Your hidden obedience matters. It always has. The tears you wiped away in private were seen. The restraint you showed when you could have retaliated was seen. The generosity you extended when resources were tight was seen. The hours you served without applause were seen. You are not invisible to heaven. May what you have sown quietly begin to bear visible fruit. May what you planted in tears be harvested in joy. May the God who sees in secret reward you in ways that exceed your imagination. Continue choosing integrity. Continue choosing love. Continue choosing faithfulness. You were seen all along.